Welcome back. You're watching Startup Central with me, Nayantara, working from home. This is the only show of its kind on Indian television dedicated to startups, technology, innovation, disruption, entrepreneurship. It's on ET Now every weekday at 6 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, stay in touch with us. Keep telling us how we can improve the show. We want to hear from you, and we love constructive criticism. Our email address is suc@etnow.tv. I don't know, are you single, looking for love, looking for new relationships? How are you supposed to do that during COVID-19? How were you supposed to do that even when there was a lockdown? How were you supposed to lock down someone in a lockdown? Like my fun? Well, with that, I'm going to invite my next guest. She's a top boss for Tinder India. It's Taru. Taru, thanks so much for being a part of Startup Central. Taru, let me just first begin by asking you, how is one supposed to date during COVID-19? I don't know if people are asking for a negative test result before agreeing to meet for a cup of coffee or whatever it is that they want to do in their first date. But how is one supposed to date, even if it's online, during COVID-19, knowing that maybe I can't meet the person I'm going to start chatting up with anytime in the near future?
Well, the last 6 months have been interesting, to say the least. The world has changed in many ways. And yet, I think the most interesting thing that I have discovered is that it hasn't changed all that much, especially for our youth in India, right? So COVID, in my view, has been an accelerant. There are lots of things and lots of changes that had been happening, and COVID has come and accelerated the pace of that. And so for us at Tinder, not a lot has caught us by surprise, because we had been seeing how dating and online dating has been changing for the last several years, and particularly in the recent years led by Gen Z, your young 18, 25-year-olds who are digital natives and social natives. So what COVID has done for all of us really has sort of blurred this divide between the real physical world and the digital world. But for Gen Z, they kind of have always been very, very comfortable at navigating the physical and the digital and living their lives on both simultaneously and interchangeably. And so we've seen them adapt the fastest. But even for the rest of us, I think the short answer is today, online dating and dating are pretty much the same thing. There's not a lot of difference.
Okay, I'm going to ask you very soon what you're supposed to do when you swipe right and meet up and all of that. But Taru, you guys at Tinder have globally and in India come out with this new feature, Swipe Night. How does it work? I believe you get 7 seconds to decide if you want to take forward the conversation or the matchmaking or whatever it is. Tell us a bit about it, and has it been a success?
So we've been very excited to bring Swipe Night to India. Swipe Night debuted in US last year, and it's an interactive in-app event where it's a fun content. It's an experience, an adventure, and you get in and you find yourself be a part of this first-person narrative in a situation that's unfolding, and you are very much a part of it. And you make decisions that affect how the story goes, and those choices that you make then in turn come on the product. You can see what other people choose. It reveals a lot about them, and it has become, for us, Swipe Night is the ultimate icebreaker. It's a lot of fun. It is a fun way of getting to know somebody and getting those choices, and what you picked in that moment reveals a lot about you. And we saw, like, our first weekend was last weekend, September 12th. We launched it in India. It was amazing. We had tons of engagement. We had tons of our users having fun. Social media was about.
Okay, so it's still in its early days. You just about launched it. First one on September 12th. But Taru, 7 seconds, swipe right. You're telling me it's a success. How big a success? Give us some idea, now. How many users logged on in India for it?
I can't get into the exact numbers by regional breakouts, which we are not at this point disclosing. However, I can tell you that engagement's been fun, and if you go on social media, you'll find all these people fighting over did you save the puppy or did you save the girl in one of the situations where you could do either. And so, from our perspective, it's been great, and we are very excited to bring episode 2 and 3 live shortly as well.
Okay. So, it's been interesting times. That's what you said at the outset of this interview. A lot of apps, of course, have seen higher traffic. Everyone's in lockdown. What was there to do? You work out indoors, and then you spend time on your phone, right? You binge. Some of us cooked, some of us did more exercises, but I'm sure you also saw more traffic. How much more traffic? Did you have to add on some safety features? Because, everyone's bored. Everyone who might be on Tinder may also not be single.
Yeah, I think the initial, the first phase of lockdowns, like back in March, April, and May, were like, when they were in really harsh lockdowns and most people were in their house, like we really saw, engagement and conversations peak, actually globally in a way, because different countries had all forms of lockdowns. We saw globally that April 5th was like a peak of, like the conversation and engagement activity went up. In India, it kept rising. The peak was even later. And I think early May, we had, May 3rd, if I remember correctly, we had 60% more messages being sent as opposed to, pre-lockdowns, pre-March. And so that is like one proxy of how activity shot up. I think at its peak, swipe volume in India was up 32%. Which again is a proxy to how all metrics shot up. And again, people have been spending a lot of time getting to know each other deeper and better, and that shows in engagement conversation. People have also had time to reflect on what they want and what kind of people would they want to meet. It's been a relatively lonely time, and so people have found ways to like connect with new people, have fun, have these little adventures online. And in the beginning, it was happening a lot on digital and video, and now over a period of time, it's become a blend of digital as well as like safe IRL experience.
Okay, so then what kind of features are we talking about? A lot of people say they've accelerated their plans because of COVID-19. So Tinder, like you're suggesting, has had to do that, add new features. What kind of features are we talking about? Because, once again, I come down to it. I understand the concept of online dating. I get all of that. But just to know that you're going to be chatting, making new friends, maybe a love relationship, whatever it is, but to not meet. So did you try and figure out features to work around that?
So in the early phase of lockdown, we made global passport free. It's normally a paid feature where you could change your location to anywhere within the country or the world and meet people there. We made that free for the first several weeks of lockdowns, and we saw a vast majority of people change their locations and were interacting and meeting with people all over the country and the world, and like that was pretty fun. Then more recently, we have added a lot of these ice-breaking and sort of getting to know each other aspects on the Tinder profile. So you would see something like passions. You will see a bunch of fun prompts that you can add to your profile, and add boomerangs. We are testing face-to-face video chat, which should be coming in India shortly as well. So yeah, there's been a lot going on and a lot more coming.
So you've explained some of these features which you have added, Taru, but I want to ask you one other question. Video is what it's all about now. You've got people who are talking about will be suddenly see resumes being done away with and job applications being done only on video. Everything is about video, right? So the fact that you've not totally enabled the video chat on Tinder, isn't that a miss during COVID-19? Aren't you losing a lot of traffic? Because let's say I swipe right, I meet someone, and I start engaging on another platform. Isn't that lost traffic for you, lost opportunities, lost opportunities for monetization as well, and just to have more engagement on the app? How could you not have video during COVID-19?
I mean, honestly, look, our users don't depend on us to know, how to chat with someone. Everyone has WhatsApp on their phone, or everyone has a digital, we've been using different forms of video apps. The, I don't think our users need us to tell them, like, just like they don't need us to tell them where you go for a date or a restaurant to go to. Like, they know this. They are digital and social natives. They don't need that tool as such. And so it was always in our plans, and we have accelerated it. It's definitely one of those things where you have to be very careful and respectful about how you build it, because you have to be very careful about safety and privacy. And so you wanna make sure that you don't rush into these things. And that's our number one priority. But I am sure it's not a missed opportunity. Our users know the best way to figure out what they need.
Okay, so you're trying to figure all of that out, and I'm sure there has to be a safety angle for it as well. There will be laws too, because and that brings me to my next question, because if you have video chat, you got to make sure that everyone is still wearing their clothes and all of that. And that brings me to my next question. Now, Tinder started off as what? It started off as a casual dating platform. You meet someone for a night, maybe once in a while, all of that, casual dating. But in India, casual dating is still not accepted socially, right? There is a certain amount of taboo on it. We still are very, very conservative when it comes to dating, to anything that happens before marriage and all of that. How has that part been for Tinder in India? You've got this young population, which of course understands and wants to date casually, but the vast majority of the population still remains conservative.
I have personally been now leading Tinder in India for over 5 years, and I can tell you that a lot has changed. But the magic of the platform and the reason why Tinder is so popular and it works is because it really, really works and really solves a need for people, which is that people want to connect with other people. And it's very hard, particularly in India, to make new friends, forget dating, outside your immediate comfort zone, right? And if you're a woman, that is like 10x harder, right? So meeting new people, figuring out who you want to start a relationship, and being able to do that on your terms, right, is a freedom, is a liberating experience that we believe our platform has enabled over the years. And that's our vision. From our perspective, Tinder is this place where anything is possible. You come in, that it is a safe, judgment-free, inclusive space where everyone is welcome. And we don't sort of come in with like archaic rules, right? Like, there are enough rules in the world we live in. We don't impose rules, other than we have to be respectful to everyone in our community. We don't dictate intent, and we allow our members to be their best selves, right? So you come in, you are who you are, you represent your best selves, and what you want, what you're seeking, the kind of people you are connecting with can be, can vary, and it depends on who you are, and it does vary, as you grow older and as you go through different life stages as well. And so we don't judge intent. The only thing that we insist on is consent, right? As two adults, if both you and I want to be friends, that's great. If both you and I are into each other and want to fall in love, that's great. And so what we see on Tinder, and I have seen this for the last 5 years every single day, is this hundreds of thousands of stories and experiences that get unlocked when you come here. You meet people, and then there is an interesting story that happens because you're open to it. So this idea of exploration, this idea of chemistry, and look, when people meet, things happen. You might meet someone, and you might feel that they're not, they're boring and it doesn't go anywhere. You might meet someone, and you figure out, hey, this person's my soulmate, and you may never leave their side. That person could become your friend. That person could become your business partner. That person could become your buddy who you play PUBG with. Like, I think human relationships, the canvas of human relationships is very broad, and we at Tinder believe that our members are best placed to figure out who they want. And by and large, like, the number one reason why people in India come on Tinder is to find like-minded people that they can connect with. And of course, the number two reason is dating and romantic intent, and finding someone who they can be with without this pressure of, oh, you have to be necessarily a certain way, or this relationship is to into something tomorrow.
Okay, so that's how people have been finding love in the times of Corona, whether it's casual love or serious love, only they know that. Taru, thanks a lot for joining us and being so candid. That's how you lock down someone in a lockdown. I'm very proud of that fun. We're completely out of time. Many thanks for joining us on this edition of the Startup Central. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. on ET Now.